So I wanted to take a few minutes to sort of brag on the Steam Deck and actually explain why I probably won't be upgrading to anything other than like Steam Deck 2 unless somebody else comes out with something that has some of the input options that the Steam Deck has. Now, for most games, an ROG Ally or even that new Lenovo Legion Go S that comes with SteamOS would probably be fine. But I play some games where the Steam Deck comes in clutch, and this game right here is one of them. This is Dragon Age Origins. I'm actually playing the GOG version through Heroic because it comes with more DLC than the Steam version does. But the thing about this game is it doesn't support controller input at all. Even though it came out on consoles of the time, the PC version of it only supports keyboard and mouse input. That's fine when I'm sitting at my desk and I have the option of using a mouse and keyboard, but I play quite a lot on my Steam Deck just because I have the freedom to pick it up and take it to the couch, take it to the bedroom, take it down to my brother's house or wherever I'm going, and if I want to pick up and play some Dragon Age, I want that ability. So what makes this so useful for playing a game that actually only supports keyboard and mouse input? Like, how can you actually have a good time playing a keyboard and mouse only game with something that is essentially just a controller with a screen in the middle of it? Well, there's a couple of things unique to the Steam Deck that make that much easier. First, the joysticks are touch sensitive. It's got these two big trackpads that they don't just serve to allow you to move a mouse around on screen. There is actually a functional reason that they are this big. You've got these paddles on the back, and all of that can be remapped with Steam input. So, for example, normally to look around in this game, you have to either pan your whole character left and right, or hold down right click on your mouse and then move your mouse while you're holding right click. All I did was I mapped touching the right joystick, because they are touch sensitive, to right click, and I actually configured a little bit of a haptic feedback so I get just a real subtle little click vibration to tell me that it actually detected that I'm touching it. So I mapped touching the right joystick to right click, and I mapped moving the right joystick to moving the mouse. So if I touch my right joystick and then move it, I can look around, just like I'm using a controller. I mapped my left joystick to my W, A, S, and D movement keys, obviously. I mapped my right trackpad to just be a mouse where I can click on things and look around with it. I mapped my left and right triggers to left and right click respectively, so if I want to click on a spot on the ground, I can do that, or if I want to click on a person to talk to them, I can do that. I mapped my D-pad to the F1, 2, 3, and 4 keys to allow me to quickly swap between party members. My A button is actually spacebar, which on the PC pauses combat to give you the opportunity to like make a plan on how to handle your enemies and queue up attacks and things. My left and right bumpers are zoom in and zoom out, so I can do that. And one of the more interesting things that I did was actually my left trackpad, because it's got two different functions. First off, if I just touch it, I just get a radio menu that goes 0 through 9 with an equal sign in the middle, and that corresponds to the numbers of my spells down here on my hotbar. So this allows me to very quickly select a spell, and then by clicking the trackpad, I can cast that spell, which I'm not in combat right now. Now, a secondary function of this trackpad is I set up a thing called a mode shift, where if I hold R4, my top paddle on the right side, and then use my trackpad, I get this custom menu that I created. Now, this is not a part of Dragon Age Origins. This is a part of Steam being overlaid on top of it. It lets you customize the icons and things. But if you look, it tells you what key this is corresponding to. And then you can set custom labels and things. But the end result is I've got this custom little menu where I can go map, character sheet, skills, inventory, all right here, and all on a game that doesn't support controller input. My start button is the escape key. My back button hides the HUD. So like, this is a perfectly playable game with a controller only input on a game that only supports keyboard and mouse input, specifically because Valve put a lot of work not just into Steam input, but in outfitting the Steam Deck with enough inputs to be useful for situations like this and still keeping the thing comfortable. That's why I've liked my DualSense, because it does have trackpads, and they can be bisected in Steam input, but they end up smaller than these, so it's a little bit more awkward to use. The joysticks aren't touch sensitive, so there's not really much that rivals the Steam Deck in terms of input flexibility. And while most games I play do work totally fine with just a regular old controller, not all of them do. And this game is one of my favorite games of all time, and it only supports keyboard and mouse input, but that is not a deal breaker if I'm playing on the Steam Deck. So I really hope Valve comes out with a controller version of the Steam Deck. So like, what I mean is just a controller without the screen that you can use on other things, because it would be really cool to just have a controller with all this input that I could pair with my desktop or pair with the Steam Deck. If I'm playing my Steam Deck in docked mode, but I still want all this flexibility, it would be nice to have a dedicated controller with all this stuff on it. And of course, you know, I picked just some common tasks to map, you know, my B, X, and Y buttons to. But I just wanted to take a few moments to brag on the Steam Deck and explain why it is such a cool device, and why, in my opinion, despite the fact that there are more powerful devices out, nothing quite rivals the Steam Deck, including that new Lenovo Legion Go S with SteamOS on it, because none of them have like touch-sensitive joysticks and these nice big trackpads and things of that nature to let you play PC games the way you want to play. Because even if your game does support controller input, you might find these trackpads handier for certain things. So anyway, let me know what y'all think. I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about why I love the Steam Deck and playing games on it. Y'all take care. Have a good one.